some wedding scams, and I'm not even taking credit for this because this is one of your guys' ideas. I saw it in the comment section on a video. You said, check out some wedding scams. That would be cool. Here we are. All right, we're starting out. Wedding planner turned out to be wedding scammer. That rhymes. Okay, so I would like to start by stating that I was by no means a bridezilla. I think if you have to say that, you might be one. We'll see. I was the first one in my group of friends to get married and had no idea what to do / expect other than marrying the man that I love and sharing that moment with our loved ones. This planner ghosted me and tried to keep my money. I was scammed. Anyway, here's the timeline for you to understand this case. We got engaged in July 2019, but didn't really start planning my wedding until November that year. My then fiance and I work a lot, so I decided to get a wedding planner. I found this girl named R on The Knot who had a few good reviews. I met her in person to see if we clicked, and she seemed to understand what I was looking for. I purchased the more expensive package, which included help in the planning process. It wasn't just the day of help. I gave her almost the full amount, not just the deposit. It was a few $1,000s. She actually wasn't helping me with the vendors, even though I was hoping she would. It was on the contract. I found all of them on my own. We set a wedding date, September 2020. Y'all know what happened in 2020, but more on that later. In late February, I created an Excel sheet with all the guests' names and their addresses. I asked R to help me with save the dates. She texted me, done, and told me how much it was to mail them out, so I Venmo her the money. None of my guests received them. Weird. At that point, I thought it was good because we were just learning of this horrible virus and figured that we would have to postpone the wedding anyway. My family is overseas and there are a lot of vulnerable adults, so we decided to postpone it. I contacted all the vendors and they were really understanding. I told them the new date in 2021 and they all said it was fine, including R. 2021 arrived, but it was still complicated for my family to travel. We decided to postpone it again until 2022. All my vendors confirmed it was okay, so I worked with them to amend all the contracts. I appreciated their flexibility considering that the wedding industry was heavily hit for COVID. Fast forward to late 2021. I sent new save the dates and began working on the invitations. I was trying to contact R because I stopped hearing from her. I started doing everything on my own again. I asked her for help with the wedding invitations, but she stopped responding to my emails. It was already January 2022 and my wedding was in May. I started getting really nervous and emailed her again. I am now getting an automated message response that her email address was deactivated. I decided to call her, but she wouldn't pick up. I left a few voicemails, texted her, nothing. To be honest, I was very concerned. A lot of people passed during COVID and I wasn't sure if she had been a victim of the pandemic. I can be dramatic in my head, I know. I checked her Instagram page and noticed she hadn't posted anything new in 2 years. That Instagram account was professional. So I wondered if she was a personal account, if she has a personal account. I knew my florist had worked with her before, so I checked the people and I checked name R that she followed. I saw that there was an R with a different last name. I checked the account and bingo, she was more than alive. Her last post was only 2 days ago and had several active stories. I realized that R got married a couple of months ago, so I couldn't find her with the new last name. I checked her stories, and now that I know she's okay, I messaged her on Instagram. R, I know you are ignoring my texts. I already paid for your services. Please respond. I checked her Instagram minutes later, and she had blocked me. My budget was really tight, and she had basically stolen that money from me. I decided to talk to one of my bridesmaids' moms, who is a lawyer, to look at the contract. She told me what to tell her, everything over text because I needed evidence. I basically told her I was going to sue her for breaching the contract. I waited patiently for 2 days until she responded. This is what she responded with. I'm sorry, I had to close my business because things were difficult during the pandemic. I do not have money or a job and cannot give you the money back. Yeah, I don't think that's how that works though. You have a legally binding contract. I got really angry because I am obviously a reasonable person. I know a lot of businesses are closed, but how can someone explain to me how she spent so much money on her wedding? Did she use the money I gave her to buy a dress? She had a videographer at her wedding and it didn't look cheap. How was she broke then? I saw it all on Instagram. Also, let's say her business closed. She could have communicated that to me in advance and given me my money back. Are we children or adults? The answer would be adults, but I told her that it's okay, I have a lawyer and she would be hearing from her soon. She then responded that she could pay me back the money, but not all at once. I agreed and created a new contract for her to pay me back in monthly installments. Surprise, surprise, she missed the first payment. I had to call her again, no response. I got really angry again and said I was done being nice. She got scared and ended up sending me the rest of the money that she owed me. She was trying to call your bluff. I found out that she has now become a wedding photographer. She sucks, zero talent, and would probably scam people. The good news is that my boo and I had a beautiful wedding after all. I found a great coordinator and it was the best day of my life. So I owe you an apology. You are not a bridezilla. You were being honest when you said you were not a bridezilla. No, she in fact did take your money, not provide services, not tell you her business was closing. And I feel for every business that was affected during COVID, but like, girl, you can't just do that. You gotta, refund and communicate and go your separate ways. Next up, scammed by wedding photographer. Location, Michigan. Good to know for anyone getting married in Michigan. We gotta start dropping names though, to really help people, Hi all, groom here. We never hear from the groom. It's always, it's always us ladies and the brides spilling the tea. I'm starting off by saying that I feel like a complete idiot. I feel like that every day. I couldn't imagine a world where a wedding photographer would string us along for 7 months. As always, the red flags are more obvious in the rear view. What I am hoping to get out of making this post is advice for what I can do next, or at the very least, warn others. Feel free to judge me when you see the red flags, but please do try to offer some advice if you have any. Oh. Bless this man already. January 2022. Attended a bridal show in the DTW area. Fine photographer business. It is a couple. $1,500. Free engagement photo session. Market price is about $3,000. I ask why the price is so low. They want to get as much business from the expo as possible. I look for them on Google, but no business listings with reviews. Red flag number 1 already. They direct me to their website, which has reviews on it. I asked to see their Instagram. It is private, which they then give us access to. I ignored all the red flags and I only see the deal, and we put down a $150 deposit. February 2022. Fill out the photographer's packet and send it back. They ask for half of the remaining balance, ask about scheduling the engagement session. They said they only do it when the weather is nice. I'm so caught up with other wedding stuff and grad work and work that I just say, okay. April 2022. I touch base to schedule the engagement session. They ask for the remaining half of the deposit to schedule it. I sent it. They say that they will meet us on July 19th for the engagement photos. July comes around. They stop responding to emails the first week of July. They now have $1,500. It was a scam. We are now shopping for much more expensive photographers. Wait a second. But you filled out a packet and the money. So there is a contract in place, people. There is. What I have, I don't have their first and last names, only their business name. I can't find an LLC registered under it on the Michigan government website. I called the expo promoter and left voicemails on every extension to try to get more information. All checks were sent as a picture via email and were written out to their business names. I only have their website and business name. I'm wondering if the bank will be able to give me more information about who cashed the check. Looking for advice on avenues to pursue the business. I am working on accepting the money is lost, and tips on what you would have done differently so that I can avoid doing this in the future. That's a shame because wedding expos usually have to do checks on the businesses that they're allowing to promote there. So I don't know what wedding expo this is, but maybe look into more of that. Your girl ain't married, never been married, ain't even engaged. What advice do I have, truly? Absolutely none, but you guys might. Next up, my coworker is being scammed into a fake marriage, and I don't know how to tell her. Well, simple, just say what you just fucking said. I, 19 female, am a college student working part-time at a hardware store during winter break. A new coworker, Rebecca, 31, fake name, started recently and I was tasked with training her. Over the past few weeks, she shared a lot about her life and I've grown concerned that she's being scammed in what I've since learned is called a romance scam. Here's the full story. Rebecca told me she's in a long-distance relationship with a Marine who has 2 daughters. She refers to the girls as her daughters and him as her husband already, and even showed me photos of them with him. She's very sweet and works full-time as a special needs teacher. She's mentioned meeting her boyfriend on TikTok boyfriend as in the one she's saying husband? 3 months ago. And they've already been planning to marry in 2 weeks so she can gain financial stability through his military benefits. However, she's mentioned needing to pay the final $500 balance before the wedding. She's been looking at wedding dresses and believes the kids live in Texas, where the man she thinks she's talking to is based. I did some digging and found out the man in the photos is actually, oh God, a semi-famous influencer, hunter, podcaster who lives in Texas but is not in the military and has 3 kids, not 2. This confirms that the guy she's talking to is not who he says he is. I also gave Rebecca a ride home on her first day because she doesn't have a car. She seems very kind but is clearly emotionally invested in this relationship. She's bought engraved gifts for the girls and genuinely believes this man and his kids are her future. She also recently came out of a domestic violence relationship and shared how hard that experience was for her, which makes this even more heartbreaking. I've spoken to my managers about it, but they legally can't intervene due to a past situation where an employee's relationship escalated into a dangerous conflict. I feel like I'm the only one who can tell her, but I'm worried about how I could possibly go about this. We have quite the age gap, so I feel it will be awkward. I go back to school this Sunday and we work together this Thursday, a 30-minute overlap in shifts, plenty of time to tell her. And then my last day is Friday. My idea was to text her and ask if I can swing by Friday to talk to her and then tell her then. Yeah, I guess we can't really tell her in 30 minutes while we're working. Like you're dropping a bomb on her entire life plan. She also mentioned that her ex's things are all over her bed in the apartment. The DV situation. So she sleeps on her couch because she can't bring herself to see it and she has been asking friends, but nobody will help her. So maybe I can also bring bags, to assist her with that too. I feel the worst that will happen is she doesn't believe me and pays another $500 and realizes it was a scam when he doesn't show up in 2 weeks. I kind of word vomited to ChatGPT and made it structure this, so some things might be missing. I wanted to add that during my last shift at the store, one of the managers was there talking to me about the situation and asked me to see a photo of the guy, so this may be creepy. But I looked up her name on Facebook and found the photo and decided I should reverse image search it, and that is how I came across the guy's Instagram, website, Facebook. That's not creepy. That is literally the basics of investigating. How can I approach this in a way that she might listen to me? Is this even my place to say anything? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Edit. Thanks everyone for the responses. So I wanted to update you after talking with one of my coworkers who attends the same church as Rebecca, that a text with the proof while sounding uncertain myself would prompt her to look into this herself. I sent her this following message. Hey Rebecca, I've been thinking about something the past couple of days and wanted to share it with you. I know we don't know each other very well, but I care about you and your happiness, and I felt like this was the right thing to do. When you showed me the photo of your boyfriend, I thought he looked familiar. He reminded me of an influencer my boyfriend follows, but I didn't think much of it at the time. The other day, my boyfriend let me see the influencer's profile, and I noticed some of the photos looked like the same ones that you showed me. I don't mean to overstep at all, and I hesitated to say anything because I don't want this to come across as creepy, but on the off chance it's the same photo, I thought it was better to say something rather than stay silent. Along with the screenshot of the photo that she has of him on his Facebook showing his company and followers. I'm not sure if I'll get a response or not, but if you guys are interested, maybe I'll update again if she does. Thanks to everyone who was kind but firm in the comments and chats. I think this was the right thing to do. There's sadly no update, which I'm bummed about, but I also agree that it was the right thing to do. You gotta tell her. All you can do is tell her, and then that's up to her to decide. And if she wants to go through with it and she has to learn the hard way, you tried. We're hopping on hydration station though, all right? Because I need some water. You do too. Don't pretend like you don't. Cheers. Hope you're having a good day. A day you're not getting scammed is already a good day. All right, we have a wedding dress scam. Hi everyone, I wanted to make this post to warn any brides about corset wedding dress designer Ma Corsettier. Probably said that wrong. I placed my wedding dress order with Cricut, the designer owner, in February and was told the lead time was 3 months. My wedding is in September, so I had plenty of time according to what she told me. I paid a deposit of over $1,000. The communication dropped off and I didn't hear from her for quite some time. The 3-month deadline comes and goes, and I reach out to ask for an order update. A new person named Lily responds to my email, introducing herself as Client Relations. Lily gave me a late August delivery estimate for my old order, and I told her I wasn't comfortable with that. Too close to the wedding. I asked to talk to Cricut, and Lily refused to let me talk to her. I was more persistent, and then Lily gave me a mid-August delivery date. The new delivery date passed with no word. So I reached out again. And that's when Lily told me they cannot guarantee delivery by my wedding date anymore because they are having a lot of delays. Bruh. My dress hadn't even started. You placed the order in February? I saw another thread of brides having the same or even worse experience, such as them canceling their order right before the wedding, etc. And then I realized I mostly wasn't going to get my order on time, so I asked for a refund. They gave me the refund, oh thank God, in the least. But they were rude about it and made it clear that they were only doing that because my dress hadn't gone into production. Oh yippee-ki-yay, thanks so much. They had horrible customer service and they don't care that they are scamming brides and causing a lot of stress during what should be a wonderful time. Please don't order from them. Thank you, clearly will not be. Next up, Bridezilla wanted a refund from all vendors' services months after the wedding. Girl, come on now. I'm currently finishing up a commission of hand-painted wedding signs for a friend of a friend. So far, the bride-to-be has been super lovely and very understanding of some issues faced along the way. As a background, I'm really good at what I do, but I am not a trained professional. I'm very open and honest with this. I also suffer from nerve damage in my upper back, neck, and left shoulder, plus frequently get RSI. So small, tiny text in print style font can be difficult to accomplish, something I am always honest about. If you want print style text, it will not be 100% perfect and looks like it's being printed. Anyways, a few years ago, I was commissioned by a coworker to paint 2 large signs for their daughter's wedding. She wanted to print only text. I explained how it wouldn't be 100% perfect, but she said that she was fine with it, that it gave the handmade feel. About 35 hours later and a lot of physical pain, the signs are completed. She's happy with them, gushing over them when I finally delivered them in person. The signs were completed, delivered, and paid for $200, including canvases and paint, with 2 months left until the wedding. The big day comes and goes. I see photos from my coworker, the signs look beautiful, and so did the whole day. About 6 weeks later, I got a message from the new bride stating she had noticed imperfections in the signs. Some of the letters were slightly uneven or bigger than the others. She agreed it wasn't too noticeable, but others had apparently commented on it. She was requesting a partial refund of $100. So I explained that to give her a refund meant that I would only be paid $30 for my work. $30 for 35 hours of work and physical pain. She had 2 months to tell me she was unhappy, but didn't. That she herself loved the signs. I also reminded her of our earlier communication. Because of the style of font she chose, it would not be perfect, and she was aware of this. I also denied her refund. She blocked me, and I thought that was it. Until a few days later, when I received a notification from my bank, she had requested a chargeback. This was easily disputed with my screenshots of our conversation and photos of the actual signs. Her chargeback was denied. That coworker stopped speaking to me at work. I figured that anyways. Turns out the new bride had requested partial refunds from every single vendor and service received for her wedding. The venue, the catering, the photographer, her hair and makeup artist, the list goes on. She had chosen to leave her job and become a full-time dog breeder, but it didn't work out. The majority of her wedding was paid by her credit card, and now she was in debt, fighting with her new husband over her excessive spending. Apparently, he'd given her full reign to do whatever she wanted as long as she didn't pester him with organizing it. To go into debt over one day is ridiculous in itself, but to try and scam small businesses and people doing you favors is another. Like, you tried. You had a game plan that you were just going to enjoy the wedding day and then start complaining afterwards to get money back. Even though you put your signs there on the wedding day and you liked them and you had 2 months. A for effort, but no. The next one says $5,000 wedding. The knot couples beware. Hello to all the lovely brides and grooms. I had an experience today via the popular website, The Knot, and wanted to share with everyone to hopefully prevent anyone from being scammed. My fiance and I have been searching for fairly cheap photographers, and I found one advertised on Instagram called Love and Photos, with the owner being named Matthew Miller. He's also advertised on the Knot website. I reached out to him and inquired about details. As he was telling me everything, something seemed off. I lived in New Jersey and he is based out of California, but claims to have locations all over the United States. First 6 hours of coverage, including first look, hundreds of photos edited by their own professional team, and travel expenses to get to New Jersey. I was quoted $850. Ma'am, that's like at least $10,000. I was very suspicious because how can you afford to travel and pay a team of professional editors while only charging me $850? Yeah. I politely finished the call and he sent me a contact that is not on his company's letterhead and appears to have been thrown together in Word. I tried Googling his business and nothing came up. I even Googled his business with his name attached and still got nothing. I checked Yelp and found nothing either. I went to the Knot website and clicked the link to take you to his site where I went through all of his pictures from weddings and events. I saved a couple of the pictures, oh here we go, and did a reverse Google image search and found that they are pictures from various professional photographers with legitimate businesses. To me, it seems as though he is taking pictures from their portfolio and using them as his own. He is even posting them on his Facebook and Instagram. He about to have so many copyright lawsuits thrown at him. I contacted the Knot and told them what I suspect, that he may be a scammer and that they are hosting him on their website. They were not happy and will be looking into it. Again, this is not meant to bash a business, but just courtesy to all brides and grooms out there to please be careful and truly research the people that you are hiring. As if weddings aren't expensive enough, we now have to worry about being scammed on our big day. I can only imagine the amount of scams that probably go on in the wedding industry, because There's so many people and contacts involved and so much going on in that process. Oh, God, it's gonna be me one day. I'm gonna be in there fighting for my life. And next up, Nigerian marriage scam. Oh my God, I'm so excited. That's awful. It's terrible for you, but the tea is hot, I have to admit. A friend of mine met a Nigerian man online and flew to Africa to meet him so she could spend 3 months there and get to know him. Is this an episode of 90 Day Fiancé? Currently watching the newest season. I love that show. At the end of their stay, they got married. Damn! And the plan was for her to come home and he would join her not long after. While she was there, she spent a lot of money on food, travel, and the wedding. She also mentioned dishing out a lot of dough for security. The wedding was live on Facebook so friends and family could watch. Friends and family and the bride received multiple friend requests from the groom and his family members. Once she arrived back in North America, they were going to start the process to get a visa for her new husband. A week after her arrival, she didn't hear anything from him for 24 hours. She gets worried as he was calling her multiple times a day and is informed that he passed in a car accident. Friends and family of the bride are extremely worried that this was all some sort of scam. Maybe the money she spent, around $10,000 on food, wedding, etc., wasn't legit. That some of the fees and bills she paid to make the event happen wasn't real. The sister of the groom mentioned over the phone not having anyone stop to help them at the scene of the accident and that she had to take him herself to the hospital where they confirmed that he had passed. Does this story sound legit? What can she do to confirm the death of her spouse? It's hard to believe he would go through a wedding to get into Canada, then fake his own passing. Without her help and support, can he get a visa to come into the country now that they are married? Oh, this is really sad if he really is in fact no longer here. Because I don't want to accuse them if this is real, but what if it's not? Oh my God, this really should be an episode. Because I want the answers. Well, I guess take your guesses. This just feels a little sensitive in case a life was truly lost. Let me know your thoughts, respectfully. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Stay classy over there. Stay fancy. Goodbye.